Good morning, everyone, and thank you to our witnesses for being here. We really do appreciate it very much. I'm really excited to hold this hearing today on the evolving landscape of name, image, likeness, commonly known as NIL, and its impact on college athletes. In just a few years, college athletics has fundamentally reshaped the lives of student athletes who can now benefit from their NIL. Before 2021, athletes were barred from profiting off of their own NIL, but in response to legal challenges and a Supreme Court decision, the NCAA ended those restrictions, finally giving our student athletes their much-deserved ability to earn compensation for their brand and their God-given talent. However, the absence of a preemptive uniform standard has led to the Wild West. Most would agree with that. A Wild West environment where sadly our student athletes are put in vulnerable positions where they can easily be exploited by those who do not have their best interests in mind. I've heard awful stories of student athletes signing deals without having been given full explanations for how their deal would impact their long-term finances and livelihood. This lack of structure has also allowed NIL collectives, who are often affiliated with universities but operating independently, to turn NIL into a pay-for-play system. Instead of being used for legitimate business purposes, NIL deals are frequently given out as recruiting inducements with little transparency or oversight. We have to fix that, folks. I'm also concerned about the transfer portal. All of us want to make sure student athletes have the freedom to make the best collegiate and educational decisions. After all, that's why they go to college, to get a good education. But educational decisions for themselves and for their future. But this current system is not workable as athletes are entering the portal at an unprecedented rate, sometimes multiple times in their careers with a hope, but not a guarantee for something better. I'm sure we have all heard the stories of student athletes being encouraged to transfer schools based on promises of NIL money that never materializes. Others transfer expecting better playing time, only to find themselves in a worse situation. This revolving door system has created instability for both athletes and the programs they leave behind, with many student athletes ending up without a clear academic or athletic path. We often focus on NIL on the business side of college athletics, but we must remember that these are still student athletes, young men and women who are supposed to be receiving an education that prepares them for a life beyond sports. Yet, too many are making life-altering financial and academic decisions without the proper guidance. Some are signing NIL deals without understanding tax and legal implications. And you can't blame them. Most of these, well, they're 18-year-olds in some cases, but some are even younger. So they're going to need some guidance, folks. Others are transferring from school to school without receiving the academic support they need to graduate. If we are serious about protecting student athletes, and I hope we are, we need to ensure that they have the resources and education necessary to navigate this new era successfully. That's why I'm so glad to have Emily and Anthony with us here today. Thank you for sharing your stories. We really appreciate it as student athletes and how you were able to traverse this complex environment. It gives us all student athletes the chance, gives all the student athletes a chance to learn and better themselves. That brings me to a point I really want to drive home. we are working on this issue not to put one school over another, although I am a Florida Gator, and I'd like to see a national championship, or another national championship sometime soon. But again, not one school over another, okay? We've got to protect the small schools as well, okay? We have Division I, but we have to look out for the medium-sized and small schools as well. So, no, we're doing this for the student athletes, and that's what we're doing it for. We must protect these student athletes, folks. We have a responsibility to do so. Unfortunately, they haven't been protected in the past, so Congress has to intervene with the preemption, in my opinion. So I'll say it again. We are doing this for the student athletes, for the young men and women who advance to college so they can continue playing the sport they love and use that experience to help them succeed throughout their lives. It could be a wonderful experience. So it is crucial we establish a preemptive standard, as I said, that protects student athletes, but also doesn't endanger the many sports programs that we don't see on ESPN or that bring in billions of dollars. I know I'm over, aren't I? Yeah. Well, let me just finish here. And I'll give you the opportunity, ranking member, to go over if you'd like. Again, folks, we must protect the student athletes, and we must protect the Olympic sports and the non-revenue sports as well. So this is too important of an issue to get wrong. I think you know that. So I look forward to a thoughtful discussion and working towards solutions that support both student athletes and the long-term future of college sports. With that, I'll yield back.